What's going on, guys? Hitball's back for the next part of this tutorial. I think it's a pretty rapidly moving forward tutorial. It's pretty cool. It's not really taking me all that long to do. I know it's coming out kind of slow, but you gotta understand a lot of video processing involved here. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna handle the deviation of the weapon, basically the inaccuracy of the weapon. This could be definitely something that players could upgrade, you know, they get more accurate. So what we need to do is kind of insert right here. The whole thing is gonna come from right here. We need to insert whatever we're doing before here and here, and essentially we just need to randomize this rotation by a little bit. So it's going to be pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves a new variable, and we're going to call this variable deviation. Okay, and it's going to be a float. So we do that. Deviation. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this kind of twice. So given that we got to do it twice, we're probably gonna make this a function or a macro because we need it twice. As you can see, there's no need to calculate it or write out the code again twice. It'll calculate it twice, or differently each way, but we don't want to write it twice. So what we're gonna do is break the rotation, okay, into its various axes, and then we don't actually care about roll. In the end, we're going to need to make a rotation, and we're going to do some mathematics in between here. Okay, so what we're going to do is take deviation, and we're going to add that here. Okay, but what we're going to actually add, this can be kind of confusing, is let's give the deviation like 3 degrees. Okay, that's actually going to be kind of a lot. Maybe not too much, but it's this a very low values here is what you want. And what we want to do is, coming out of here, we want a random float in range, and what we want is our maximum to be our deviation and our minimum to be our deviation times -1. So that if our deviation is 3, the minimum is -3 to +3. Okay? And then essentially, we just need to do that again for the yaw. Okay? Pitch, yaw. Now we can hook this up. But the problem is we got to do that again. So we could dupe this, right, and just hook it up, or we could make this like a macro or a function. So we're going to collapse to a macro first and see what we can get. Boom! So we got in rotation, and now we can duplicate that and just hook it up. That's it. So it's a little cleaner, and if you ever want to see what's going on, you just double click. And it goes right in, shows the input. Whatever was input originally becomes the input, and then we get the output here. And we can add more inputs and outputs if we wanted to, but in this case we're fine. So that's all we need to do. So let's put our weapon on auto, and it is. Well, it doesn't really matter because we can edit it. And let's see if that works. It should. By the way, I've been looking at the materials for this guy because I'm thinking about repainting him. That might be fun. So we'll hit play, and kind of hard to tell, so let's speed up the projectile a little bit here. So we just come to the projectile movement, and we turn this way down. So I'll just turn it up to 1500, and let's take a look at where they're hitting. My guy is like totally in the way. He is very much in the way, but let's exaggerate so we can tell if it's happening or not. We got a deviation of 30 degrees. See that? See how they're going in all directions? So you don't really want that, you know, that's too much, but it is in fact working. So, ooh, you know, because it felt like it wasn't doing anything, we'll say like 8 degrees or something like that. Okay, we'll save that. Actually, let's just Control S. Okay, so there's deviation. That's it. And like I said, all you got to do now, if you want, you can say, hey, you know, I just upgraded my deviation, just whatever deviation is, subtract 1 from it, subtract 0.5 from it, however many times you want to let them upgrade, all the way to the point where it gets down to 0. And that's it. I mean, it's that simple. I hate to say it, but it is. Now, one of the other things that has been requested on this was spread for something like a shotgun. So for right now, I'm going to consider burst. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this differently. We're going to make this shoot like a shotgun, okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to say that a shotgun can only be in fire mode semi-auto for now. What we're going to do is we're actually going to give ourselves a new variable, and what we're going to do is we are going to say rounds per shot. Okay, this is going to give us the ability to have every time you pull the trigger to shoot more than one projectile at a time. However, we don't want the animation to play more than once, right? So what we're going to do is come over here and we're going to insert something in the beginning of this, which is actually going to be quite easy. We're just going to do a for loop. And first index will be 0, and the last index will be rounds per shot. Now, if our rounds per shot is, say, 5, we're actually going to shoot 6 bullets because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 6 counts. So actually, we're just going to get around that, we're just going to start at 1. Okay, we could say rounds per shot -1, be the same thing. So we're just going to, actually, let me do this. Hold control so we can replace that, because I don't know where that goes off the screen and I don't want to go looking for it. And that should be it. Rounds per shot will be 5, and again really quick. Loop body auto, no matter what. Are we on auto still? Let's go semi-auto. Just I think I only see 1 or none. There's only, is there only 1? It looks like there's only 1. I kind of want to change this damn thing's material. Sphere. Projectile mesh. Is there like a more glowy material or something? Because I need something that kind of bright without me having to go in and mess with it. Okay, sure, why not? Lamp. Okay, so that's not working quite yet as hoped. First index rounds per shot is 5, so we should repeat this. I'm wondering, actually, I think what we want to do is actually bypass at this point here, because I think this is actually going to be better after the line trace. It should run the macro, it should deviate, because I'm wondering if I had 5 shots coming out but there was no deviation. That could have been the problem. They were all in the exact same spot. Oops. Okay, so I know we had to dupe that, but we'll keep it there for now. Let's just see if that does us any good. I'm gonna hit the guy and see how many times he says ouch. Just once. Okay, so we are only in fact getting 1 bullet. Let's test. Bullet. Let's see how many times that gets spammed out. Should be, I think, 1. That was 5. think what's happened is that the deviation... It's so fucking irritating when this happens. I don't know what that is. I really don't know what that is. I have a feeling that what's happening is it's not rerunning the macro. It should. Because when it calls this, this will backtrack to here, which will backtrack to here, which should run it again. For every one of these. All of this stays the same based on the one time we pulled the trigger. Right? Where we're aiming doesn't change. It's where our rotation comes into play. So let's give a massive amount of deviation again, just so we can double check, because I think inherently what's going wrong is that they're all receiving the same deviation. Hang on, maybe that deviation is insane, and maybe we want the rounds per shot to be like 50 bullets. I just want to make sure what's going on here. I'm only seeing like 2 of them. Okay, I think I know what's happening. I think what's happening is that the bullets are colliding with themselves and getting ejected supersonically away. So what we want to actually have happen is we want the bullets to ignore each other, which kind of sucks because now you can't shoot bullets out of the air, which, well, I guess you'd have to be that weirdo from that movie Wanted to be able to do that. So what we're going to do is we need to give ourselves a projectile collision channel, and this is actually going to be very good to do. So we go back to, I think it's project settings. There should be a collision thing here. And see how we have object channels and trace channels? We need a new object channel. We can have 18 new ones. So we're going to add a new one, and we're going to call this projectile. And the default response is going to be block. And this is important because this is going to determine what the million or so blueprints and scripts and everything that we have already created are going to do with this. So what do you want everything to do with a projectile? Well, for the most part, you want them to get nailed by it. So we'll just keep the default to be block, okay? And we don't need to hit save or nothing. And now in the projectile, what we do is we come to the sphere collision and just go to his collision and go to custom, and projectile will be ignored. So we don't collide with other projectiles, and hopefully that helps. I'm really only seeing like 2 or 3 of them. I mean, we should have a whole mass of them. I mean, it's happening 50 times, but I'm only ever seeing 3 at the most, personally. They shouldn't be colliding with each other anymore, so I still think that our deviation is giving us something weird. So what I want to do, what am I, so this is if I am aiming at something. So I'll do it from this top ones. I just want to pick up that rotation and print it and see if it's different per bullet or if they all come out the same. It was too much information at once. Now they all look different. Yeah, they all look different. I really am only seeing like 2 or 1. There's 2. That was 1. 2. The projectile mesh is set to block all dynamic. That should be no collision. The sphere should hit everything but another projectile. Okay. I don't know why this isn't working. Or, I can't tell if it is or not. It doesn't look like it is. I'm definitely getting different rotations, so the transform should be... We have like 30 degrees. What am I doing wrong? We know deviation works, but I'm just not getting 5 separate, like clearly 5 separated projectiles. What am I doing wrong? It should loop this 5 times. Rounds per shot is 5. I'm going to do 500. I might crash. So I'm going to save. And actually, just disconnect that guy. I don't need that. Okay, it worked, but it was very, very heavy. You don't ever want to spawn 500 things on a loop, by the way. I just really want to know. It's like processing all. It seems like only one of them's coming out. It really does. I cannot tell what I'm doing wrong. I am definitely getting this randomized for each one. I saw it being printed. It just feels like they're not all spawning. That's what it feels like. It feels like they're not all spawning. The question is whether or not we need... Because, I mean, I could tick this out, but the for loop should do it. It really should. And it showed 5. Why is this not working? I might have to shut the video down. I gotta help somebody in Skype, too. I might have to shut the video down and come back on this one for the shotgun thing and figure it out, and then I'll show you guys what happens. This should work, doing it in rats, but I don't know why it's not working here. There's, I think, something else going on. So semi-auto. We'll play the animation, which will come here. It'll run the trace if it hits something. Does all that calc stuff. The lookout rotate. The deviation was not that crazy. Out of curiosity. Gonna make the projectile bigger. There's 2. There's 4. There's none. That was 4. That was 2. That was none. Let's do this. Maybe they're just going straight down so fast. But see, that only looked like 2. And 2. And 2. And none. Why am I getting none? spawn even if colliding should mean that it doesn't give a shit if it's in the middle of the gun or in the middle of another projectile, because it will be in the middle of another projectile. I don't want to deviate the location, just the rotation. This is very inconsistent and I don't know why. It's very inconsistent. I'm going to turn that off. In fact, I'm not going to destroy these fuckers at all. Oh my god. That was good. I love it. I done did kill myself. Alright, so that they're hitting something. They're hitting something. It's working, they're just fucking hitting something. I'm sorry guys. This always gets me. It really does. Would you ignore yourself? Would you ignore the guy? See, I don't know why. How did I kill myself? Is it because it only when it's moving and it's not moving at the point that it spawns yet? Should be. Should ignore. Sphere. Target is the sphere. How about target is yourself? Nope. Okay, wait, hang on. I won't have anything selected. Ignore actor when moving. Oh, I gotta pick one of them. Get move ignore actors. Ignore actor when moving sphere. And ignore actor when moving projectile mesh. Out of curiosity, I'm going to do both. I should not be able to fucking kill myself. I thought I did everything in my power to stop that. Yeah. Okay, I know why I'm dying. It's because they're not moving anymore, which I don't want them all laying around. So there's a whole bunch that aren't moving. Those that I hit, boop, 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 I'm hurting myself. If they are moving, I don't take damage. So we need the projectiles to go back to destroying themselves, but if we hit a character, let's get rid of that shit. We don't need that anymore. Destroy yourself if you hit and hit. And you should not be freaking hitting other projectiles. They are. They are. Okay, now. Only destroy yourself if you hit a character. Am I destroying myself because I'm hitting something else? No. Okay. They're being destroyed because they're hitting something. Oh, I know what it is. It's this handshake box. No, it's overlap. Ignore the projectile. I do not want the anything else ignoring the projectile. So it's just a collision issue, that's all. Okay, now on cast failed. They are colliding with each other and I don't know why. It's driving me batshit crazy. So I'm going to end the video because I'm just going to keep going down this rabbit hole. I hate to do it. I apologize. Hopefully you guys see like why this can be irritating. It just happened to me before where my collisions are just not behaving. I know it's something silly I'm doing. I know that for a fact. But I can't see it right away because I really would have expected this to do that. I mean, I could say do a check to say, here, let's do this actually. Let's do this. Cast to my projectile. So if it fails that, we'll try to cast to my projectile. And as long as it fails that, then we'll destroy ourselves. That should do it. That did it. But we're still killing ourselves, even though we should be ignoring. Let's do another check. Other actor, let's get instigator. I mean, this is irritating that I should not have to do this. If it's not equal the object, then go ahead and proceed. Okay, if it is ourself, if it is ourself, we don't do anything. Now here's the thing, is this still firing a hit event? Yeah, it is, even though it shouldn't though, because I'm ignoring myself. Oh, I fucking know. Oh, I'm so stupid. And this is it right here. I'm so stupid. I never even told this thing that it is a projectile. God damn. What? Okay, so I don't even need that shit. I shouldn't need that shit. I might still, but we'll see. There we go. Boom! Boom! There we go. I fixed it. I didn't have to do a video. My fault, guys. I'm sorry. I completely forgot. I didn't even change the object type to be projectile, so all of this ignoring and shit, it was still world static. So it's an oversight on my part. I'm dumb. I've done that before too. It's not the first time I forgot that. So hopefully you guys don't forget that. Damn it. Damn it. And I hate going back and watching these videos when I'm spending like 10 minutes trying to figure out something totally obvious, and then when I find, you know, when you in hindsight you know the answer, and it's like, it's just so painful to sit there and watch somebody struggle through that, even though it happens to the best of us, you know. So anyways, that's what happened. So HitPod signing off. I'll see you guys in the next one. In the next one, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing in the next one? We got deviation. Hang on, let me just think here. We got deviation. We got firing modes. We got rounds per shot, which obviously if this is not a shotgun, you just go 1, you know. And our deviation's a little high here, so we'll say maybe 5. And rounds per shot is an average of about 12 for a shotgun or so. It does pretty good in games. I know there's a lot more than that in reality, more pellets, but we're also not shooting out a whole bunch of giant-ass tennis balls. Now the projectiles aren't going fast enough or anything like that, and they are being destroyed at the moment that they make contact, which is good. So all I gotta really do is just, you know, turn this back up. 6,000. And we should see a pretty decent spread if we shoot out into space. Kind of hard to tell, but it is. It's coming to the skybox really quickly. So I killed him really fast. So there's a spread. And again, if the weapon was shot, rounds per shot, we can find this, we can get this no problem. Now, like I said, it's really stupid to do this here. Any of these actually. These should be stored inside the weapon or the projectile. I would say the weapon. So we don't even have a weapon class yet. So I think maybe in the next video we're gonna organize, which is not exactly fun, but it will hopefully show you guys like a really, you know, at least a viable way of going through and getting everything sorted, because we need to say, hey, I got this guy, he's holding a shotgun. The shotgun shoots 12, but now he's holding an AK. So how do I swap, you know, how do I tell him? So we're going to store our weapon classes are going to be data holding blueprints for the most part, pretty much entirely. They will hold the information on what mesh are we going to use, what bullet type, what's our spread, how much ammo do we got, how long does it take to reload, how this and that and that, what animation instance do we need for the animation blueprint and stuff like that. I could show you guys the one I have in Rats, and it's hilariously huge. It really is. It takes up a humongous amount of this space because there's, and it's not like it's difficult. It's just a matter of, hey, I got to just take into account all these different possibilities. What's the weapon? What's all its data? So what we may or may not do is create weapon. We can also create weapon data structures, and that would actually get us out of having to create classes for them. But honestly, I kind of like having classes because then you can subclass them and make minor changes. You can say, hey, I got a shotgun, and I got an auto shotgun. Now I got a shotgun that only shoots 5,000 things or something. Like it gives you the ability to kind of just branch out and cover more possibilities. If you make a data structure, you kind of can do the same thing, but you end up with a bit of a larger list because none of those structures take into account any of the other blocks of data in there. They all like kind of start from scratch. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably not. It doesn't even really make sense to me. So this is Hit Pause signing off. I'll see you guys in the next one. The next one, like I said, we're going to do a little bit of organization just so we can have I might not do the organization, but we're going to need to start doing that soon. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.